Hello students, welcome to today's session on redemption of debentures. Let's start with it. So when we talk of redemption of debentures, as I told you in my earlier videos also, that the company is issuing the debentures, there could be some types of debentures which are redeemable. Redeemable means that these debentures can be repaid, right? That is, the debenture holders, after the maturity is arrived, they will surrender these debentures to the company, and company will pay back the principal that they had applied. Since we know that debentures are the debt instrument, so therefore this is the safest manner, and in most of the companies and most of the debentures issued to the public are redeemable. So now moving on from there, we can say that redemption of debentures is the process of repaying debentures issued by the company to its debenture holders. In other words, we can say that this is the process of repaying the principal amount to the debenture holders. Once debentures are redeemed, the issuing company discharges its share of liability and takes it out from the balance sheet, because as I said, this is the borrowed fund. Okay, so therefore this is the liability of the company to keep it safe till the principal amount is paid off to the creditor, that is my debenture holder. Okay, the terms of redemption are stated in the debenture certificate itself, just to make things transparent and cause no confusion at a later date. Now, these debentures can either be redeemed at premium or at par. Okay, just like this, as the debentures can be issued at premium, par, or discount. So, but when it comes to redemption, the debentures will be redeemed either at par or at premium. It is not redeemed on discount, because that's a kind of a loss the debenture holders will be incurring, and therefore that's not a motivation for the debenture holders to invest in a certain company. Then redemption signifies repaying the number of debentures to the debenture holders. All terms and conditions accompanying redemption are mentioned in the company's prospectus that initiates an invite for issuance of debentures. Now, these debentures can be redeemed in four ways. First, payment in lump sum. The company redeems the debentures by paying the amount in lump sum to the debenture holders at the maturity thereof, as per the terms of issue. Right? This means that suppose the debentures are to be matured in 5 years' time. So after the 5 years period is expired, now the entire set of money, say one debenture invested 10 lakh rupees for these 5 years. So, after the expiry of this 5 years, the entire 10 lakh rupees as principal will be given to him, along with whatever interest remains pending. Second is payment in installments. Under this method, normally redemption of debenture is made in installments on the specified date during the tenure of the debentures. Right? That is, say for example, suppose the debenture, the entire tenure of debenture is say 5 years. And the terms say that after the third year of the issue of debentures, the redemption of debenture starts in installments, right? In equal installments of, say, in equal 4 installments. That means after the third year is over, the first installment will be redeemed to the debenture holder, and thereon it goes on. Okay. And as it says, specified date. Now, usually this specified date is the end of the accounting year, that is 31st March of every year. The total amount of debenture liability is divided by the number of years. It is to note that actual debentures redeemable are identified by means of drawing the requisite number of lots out of the debentures outstanding for the payment. Then the third method is purchase in open market. Right? That is when the company purchases its own debentures for the purpose of cancellation. Such an act of purchasing and cancelling the debenture constitutes redemption of debentures by purchase in the open market. The last method is conversion into shares or new debentures. Now, this is as per the discretion of the company, and at the same time the consent given by the debenture holder that the company can redeem its debentures by converting them into shares or new class of debentures. See, this happens. And why? Because there could be certain investors who at the time of redemption don't need that much of money, right? But they feel that by way of converting them into shares or by way of investing in another debentures, their money will further grow. So for that matter, they can opt for this. So if debenture holders find that offer is beneficial to them, they can exercise their right of converting their debentures into shares or new class of debentures. Now at this point, let me tell you that when the debentures are being paid in installment and it's a listed company, then the companies have to prepare debenture reduction reserve. Okay. Now, what is this? So basically, this is a sinking fund created by the companies to uh, 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 ensure that at the time of redemption the sufficient amount is present in their in the company for the purpose of redemption, right? So a separate reserve, a separate fund is created for this purpose. Essentially, this is the reserve that is built by accumulating at least 25% of the face value of debenture every year until its maturity. Main objective is to protect the interest of debenture holders. So, according to Indian Companies Act 1956, which is which continues even in 2013 also, that is, companies that issue debentures need to create this reserve before the maturity date of a specific debenture. Okay. Now, this how does this debenture redemption reserve work? So a debenture is a debt security, as I told you, which lets the investor borrow money at a fixed interest rate. Okay. And this instrument is considered unsecured because it is not backed by any asset, lien, or any other form of collateral. Therefore, to protect debenture holders from the risk of default by the issuing company, Section 117C of Indian Companies Act of 1956 implemented this debenture redemption reserve mandate. This mandate requires companies to set aside in cash a certain percentage of the amount raised through the debenture issue in a special fund only to be used in extreme cases to repay their debt obligation rather than defaulting on the debenture. This fixed percentage, as I told you in my earlier as I told you earlier, is normally the 25% of the face value of debenture every year. Then we have some special considerations in this. The special considerations are that is that this debenture redemption service only applies to debentures that were issued after the 2000 amendment to Indian Companies Act of 1956, and the companies falling under the following four categories are altogether exempted from DRR requirements. For example, the first is all India financial institutions regulated by RBI. Other financial institutions regulated by RBI, banking companies for both public and privately placed debentures, and housing finance companies registered with National Housing Bank. These set of companies or these four categories of companies are fully exempted from the DRR requirement. Rest all other companies have to mandatorily create this DRR to protect the debenture holders' interest at the time of redemption. Right? So, that's all for today's session, students. I hope you all understood this topic. Keep practicing. I'll see you the next time. If you have any doubts, please contact me through my Urban Pro profile. Thank you.